Can you blue ball a light? This is a safe space, right? I can ask you questions like that. Can you blue ball a light, like a light bulb? Is that a thing you can do? Because earlier this week, I was in the kitchen and the light was on. And as I was leaving the kitchen, I went to turn off the light and I hit the wrong light switch. I know, ooh, clumsy me. And I hit the wrong light switch, but I'm also very smart and I got these quick instincts. So when I turned, the wrong light switch, I quickly turned that same one and I turned it off. But the thing is, that other light switch, it never turned on. I turned it on and off so quick that the light switch, the light bulb, it didn't even flicker on. And I felt weird. I felt weird because, I turned the kitchen light off and then I took a few steps and I was like, wait a minute. I'm an electrical engineer, right? That's what I have a degree in from UC Davis. But what if there's like a current or something that's all charged up and it got right to the light bulb and then I stopped it. So I went back to the light, I turned it on, I let it turn on, and then I turned it off because I wanted it to get that release. I thought about it in that moment. I was like, what if I didn't let it, turn that light on, let that current, that load travel fully? What if I didn't let it, exert its load? Is it going to explode? I don't know. Is it going to be mad at me next time I come in the kitchen? It's like, I'm not turning on. I'm like, why? And they're like, because you know what you did to me last time. I'm like, oh, come on. Really? That's not a thing. That's a thing light bulbs make up just so I can, flick you on every night. That's made up. That's not real. You're manipulating me. And I was manipulated because I did turn on that light and then I turned it back off because I was like, oh, this could have long-term effects that I don't want to deal with. So I'll just give this light a release. And I don't know if it's true or not. Can you blue ball a light? I don't know. I could look it up. I'm not going to. I'm just going to listen to a bunch of podcasts and hopefully one time someone mentions whether or not you can blue ball a light and then I'll be like, oh, look, I'll take that as doctrine. I'll take that as the truth and I'll spout that to everyone I talk to in my real life. Because that's where I get all my information now. As an adult, I don't go to school. So I got to get all my information from people with podcasts. You could be like, oh, Gauruv, you can read and stuff now. That what do you? People don't read nowadays, anyways. All the people that do read, that's just them listening to audiobooks. No one actually looks at books and reads. That's a thing of the past, you fool. Why would you think people do that nowadays? What's the value of reading nowadays? What, to get information, to get smarter? Fuck that. What? Who? Why do you need to do that? See, when I was younger, I know it's hard to believe, such a wise man as myself was once a young, stupid member of our youth. But when I was younger in elementary school, they had this thing, and even in middle school they did it. But in elementary school, they had a cooler way of doing it. It's where every week they'd take you to the library, and you could pick out 2 books. One's supposed to be fun, and one's supposed to, actually be a worthwhile read. So I'd always get Garfield, that was set in stone, or Calvin and Hobbes. And then I would get some other one, like Goosebumps, because that was apparently a standard of literature back then. They were like, oh, we want you to be smarter, so read Goosebumps. And I did. I read a lot of the Goosebumps books. And you might be like, oh, how'd you pick which one you read? Did you read the title and be like, oh, I'm going to be into Phantom of the Opera? No. I did read Phantom of the Opera, but because it was the purple book, I picked my Goosebumps based on their color. I remember there was this brand new one. No one fucking wanted it, but I did. Because it was like this bright orange color. I was like, I fuck with that color. I remember being so proud of myself. I even considered stealing it from the library. But I remember you gotta check them out and then bring them back in. Check them in, So I didn't steal it, but I had fantasies. We all do, don't we? But when we were in this library, when I was younger, they'd take us there once a week. And if you had finished reading a book during that library time, you would go to one of the computers they had set up. And those, computers look thicker than Disney moms. And you would go sit down at one of those thick-ass computers and you would take a 10 to 15 question multiple choice test. And I think if you got like a 90 or higher, or maybe it was even 100%, I think you had to get a 90 or higher. But if you got 100, they'd give you this little, what do you call it, like a keychain. It was a plastic keychain thing that you could put on like a chain necklace, and it was this different colored worm. The cool ones were glow in the dark, and you could pick out your worm. They'd announce it every week. They're like, oh, Zoe read 18 books. Come up here and, you got 100% on 15 of them. Pick out your 15 caterpillars. It was like a flex. I remember that Friday, you would wear them every Friday, something like that. There was a designated day you could wear them just to flex on everyone else and be like, yeah, look at me, I'm smarter than you, and there's a measure of it. And it's not even like a grade. Like, we all have grades. That's a measure of intellect. That's what we say. But you're a dick if you bring up your grades. There's no good situation to be like, I have 3.8. It's like, oh, okay. I was just seeing if you were free this weekend. It's hard to bring up your GPA in a casual way. But when you're just wearing a chain, it's an outward flaunt. It's flaunting, You see that chain, you know what the fuck is up. You know that Zoe's got a big brain. I mean, you can tell by the size of her head, but you're like, oh, she's packing a lot in that. She's got the storage and the capacity to fill it because she's reading so much literature. Look at you, Zoe. But that was the incentive when we were younger, right? To read books is you get a little caterpillar chain, a little worm, whatever that thing was. What's the point of reading now? So I listen to podcasts. So one day, someone on a podcast is going to mention whether or not you can blue ball a light. You would think, I was in school for 4 years and some change. Maybe I should know that as an electrical engineering major. No, I don't. What do I know? I don't know. I know enough. Yeah, debatable. I've run into some people, they're like, you don't know enough. I don't know who these people are. I made them up. It's the little man upstairs, right? I don't know what I'm saying. But I did this thing earlier this week. I may not know much, but I know enough to know that we can program ourselves. That's right. Maybe I don't know things about currents, but I know how to program. Not code, but like humans, right? And I know that, you can rewire your brain certain ways, right? So I was driving to work earlier this week. It was actually last week, but let's make it seem more recent so it seems more relatable, right? So I was driving to work this week. Look at us. Now we have an inside joke thing going, Most people, they're like, oh, wow, he really did drive this week. But no, you and I know it was a couple weeks back. Actually, I guess I told everyone, so it's really not an inside joke anymore. It's just now, it's just a lie. Oh, no. And I grew up, hearing that liars were bad. Unless those people were lying. Oh, my God. But who do I believe? But I was driving to work this week, and I always set up a playlist. I know how long that drive takes, so I set up a playlist to know which songs I'm going to listen to at what point in the drive, And so I know the last, 2 songs will play when I'm traversing the campus of work. When I get onto the work's campus, they call it, it takes about 5 minutes to find parking, get out of your car. So I know that the last 2 songs I listen to will be at work. And I queue up these songs so that any song I listen to at work, I don't care if it gets ruined. Because any song that I listen to when I'm on work's campus, I now associate with work. This is what we do, right? This is a thing that humans do. We attach memories to things. Sometimes it's pictures, sometimes it's places, sometimes it's songs. Whenever we experience this thing, it's like, anytime I experience that thing, I'm reminded of this memory. And the same thing happens to me with songs. When I go onto the campus at work, if I'm playing this song, anytime I hear that song, I'm going to think I'm at work. It's a very powerful thing, music. These fuckers, they can give you so much happiness, but they can also take you to a place you don't want to go. That's why I don't like sharing the music I listen to with people, because they get it, they don't, but then they get a look into, my brain. They don't, because I don't know what I attach to each song. But then anytime I listen to that song, oh no, I think of that person. Oh no. Now I've attached that person to that song. That's dangerous. So I do this at work. I attach these songs that I don't care if they get work attached to them, associated with them, and I listen to those when I go to work. Do you do the same thing? Do you purposely, depending on a drive, queue up a certain song that you'll like? Like anytime I drive from Roseville to Davis, I always, if I listen to this Post Malone's Hollywood's Bleeding album, that takes me back to a very specific time in my life. That takes me back to the end of 2019. That is when I was commuting to work from Davis. Work was in Folsom, so I guess, from Folsom to Davis, I would just listen to Hollywood's Bleeding. That was like the only music I was listening to. And there were so many memories and people attached that time that anytime I'm on that freeway, I know I can put that song on and a fucking flush of memories will come back. All the people I knew in that time. I still talk to some of them. But then there's some people I don't talk to. I haven't talked to since the end of 2019. And if I go on that certain freeway and I listen to that certain album, I'm reminded of those people. Then I think forever that will happen when I listen to that song or that entire album. Certain songs on that album I like more than others. And so I was like, I can't do this now. There's songs I like now, and I got to make sure I attach good memories to each of them because I don't want them to, remind me of work. Then I'm not going to listen to that shit outside of work. And so this, week, this week, look at us. Little inside joke. We have a rapport. That's what it is. It's called rapport. We're closer. Don't you feel closer? But this week, I was driving a couple members of my team to lunch. And we go in the car, and no one's ever been in my car, but they were insistent this time. They were like, Gauruv, you drive us. And I was like, I can do that. For a cheap fare. I got to pay for gas. Times are hard. For a small price of $60 a head, I'll take you one way. The other way back, that's $20. I'm giving you a bargain. Some people like to see it as 40 both ways, but I don't like that. So one of my coworkers gets in my passenger seat and he's like, all right, well, music we listen to, Garv. I was like, I don't really listen to music. I lied. I was like, I don't know. Not much. There's nothing for not listening to anything because I'm not queuing anything up because it's work. I'm not gonna show you what songs I like because then I'll attach that song to work. I can't do that. So I just lied. I was like, yeah, no, I don't really listen to music. Huh. Do you guys do that? That's so weird. You listen to music? Couldn't be me. No way. What is that like? When you guys listen to music, is that like? What do you rely on it? Huh? Is it a problem? It's a crutch, isn't it? It's a thing you like, and now I'm gonna make it, paint it in a poor light, so that I can seem more superior to you, right? That's right. Things can't just be things people enjoy and not enjoy. They have to be problems with people's character. Everything's a vice nowadays, right? Oh, you like walks? What, you can't stay inside? Yeah, but you're annoying at parties, right? You just can't keep to yourself. You always got to bother people. That's what going on walks tells me about you, right? Fucker. Yeah. No, nothing is nothing. Nothing is nothing anymore. Everything is something, right? So that's why I don't want to give anyone anything. I don't want to show you like, oh, what music I was listening to. They were like, all right, we'll meet you in the middle. What was the last song you were listening to? I was like, well, I have to admit, on the way here, I was listening to Jaded by Miley Cyrus. It's a great song. Have you heard it? And of course, they were like, no. I was like, all right, but that's a good one. And it is a good song, but it's not like one of my favorites. So that's why I admitted to listening to it, and I did listen to it on the way to work because I was like, this one I can get rid of. This is enjoyable to listen to, but whatever. It's a song that you could probably hear in a dentist office, and that's okay. That's low risk. I can't attach any meaningful memories to it because it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's not really mine. But there are some songs that, I attach memories to, and I'm like, not a lot of people are listening. I'm all about indie underground artists. I don't listen to what other people listen to. And so, all these songs I listen to, I don't want memories attached to them, so I don't put them on. It's certain places. Do you do that? I do it with places. Like there's certain places I attach a memory to, certain songs, certain smells. You ever do that? You ever smell something, it takes you back? I remember I was, first grade, kindergarten? I went to this private elementary school. I went there, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Then I moved to a public school, and I became normal. But when I went to this private elementary school, they had us make Christmas ornaments, homemade Christmas ornaments, or I guess school-made Christmas ornaments. And we made one that was a gingerbread man, and it smelled exactly like gingerbread. In fact, still to this day, we're like 15, 17 years later, That ornament, when you take it out of its storage box, it still smells just as potent. It smells like gingerbread. It's one of my favorite ornaments. And anytime I smell that, even today, I don't think I've given it a good sniff in a minute, but anytime I smell that, it takes me back to that classroom. It was this cold, cold classroom. It's where they taught us Spanish. It was the Spanish and art class. I remember it was such a cold room. The floors were cement, and they just had 3 big tables in there. I remember in the back table, actually, Troy cut off part of Sam's finger. Fucking idiot. We were messing around, and I think they were doing this thing where you throw up little scraps of paper and then you try to cut them. Well, Sam threw up a piece of paper. Troy went in for the cut, and missed the mark. Fucking cut Sam's finger. It was minor. I mean, at the time, it was major. We had to go up to the teacher and be like, holy fuck. He just tried to murder her. He didn't. We didn't give that narrative, but we were like, oh, something bad happened. I don't think, isn't that crazy when you're younger? You don't really have a gauge on the severity of situations. But we still knew in that moment that, oh, this is a big deal. I think if for a slight second we were like, should we keep this under wraps? We started like bribing Sam. We're like, don't fucking say anything. We're like, are we going to go to jail for this? Should we like try to offer up some hush money? Will this pain now let us rest easy later? Or are we going to pay the price? I don't know. We don't know the way of the world. It's the wild, wild west when you're younger. You don't know shit. But that happened. And that's the memory I think of whenever I smell this little hint of gingerbread. That's what I do with songs. I associate memories with them. And then I can't listen to certain songs because they take me back to places I don't want to go. I can't listen to basically any song from, besides Post Malone's album, I can't listen to any song from 2019 and 2021. I don't like the memories that I've associated with those songs. They fuck me up. They're very like bittersweet songs. They're not. The nature of the song isn't bittersweet, but all the memories, like all that pandemic stuff and the stuff right before the pandemic, like, oh my God, it's a weird thing. And then, the last year of college, that was a weird one. And so I can't listen to those songs. I do the same thing on that's a big scale. I do the same thing on like a micro scale now. That even like a drive to work last week, like I am very cognizant of what songs I put on to listen to because I'm like, I don't want to ruin a song. And do you do that too? Do you purposely try to not ruin songs for yourself? Or does that even happen? Does listening to a certain song in a certain place like ruin it for you? I don't know. But yeah, there's certain songs that take me back to certain places. And sometimes I don't want to go there. So I don't listen to this song. And that's traveling back in time, right? And something about traveling back in time that people in their 20s love doing is talking about how good they were. Oh my God, nostalgia. Fucking love that shit, right? But there's been a thing I've noticed. A lot of like my friends, they're in their 20s, right? And people in their 20s, I found that they love doing this thing. They like to talk about like every year. I don't know, you guys maybe have friends there in their 20s, right? Every year people in their 20s like to be like, I'm getting old. I'm an old person. I remember telling an adult this. And she was like, God, you guys are fucking... I can't stand you guys. What is it? I can't even think of the word. I just have so much wisdom stuck up there. I can't think of basic vocab words. Insufferable. She was like, you guys are insufferable, you fuckers in your 20s. You're not old. You think you have one back pain, you're like, I'm gonna die tomorrow. Oh, my prime is over. I pulled a muscle reaching behind the couch. But people in their 20s, they love doing this thing where they're like, I'm old. I do it sometimes too. Yeah, every year. I'm like, I'm getting old. I'm trying to be more purposeful about it. Like, I remember I was complaining about something with a friend of mine, and he was like, dude, we were talking about relationships. He was like, dude, I'm getting old. I was like, all right. I was like, I gotta stop you there. You're 25. I'm 24. Let's drop the whole old thing. We're not fucking old. We're young. Say it. Say it. We're young. Say it while you still have a voice. And you're not some old croaky fuck, huh? Say it loud and proud. But yeah, 20 people in their 20s were always like, yeah, we're getting old. But there was something recently that happened that kind of made me think, oh my God, there's something beautiful about getting old. If you haven't watched it already, I did a episode of my new podcast, All Ears, with Abrion. Abrion and I, we talked a lot back in like 2018, 2019. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but Abrion and I would get together for like 6 or 8 months, I think, every Friday, and we'd talk for like 2 or 3 hours. And we would always do it in UC Davis's bowling alley, which is right below Memorial Union. And that was great. We really bonded during that time. We got close. And then I think last time I saw her in person was January 2020, maybe January or February 2020. And then this little thing happened. You may have heard about it. The pandemic. The pandemic happened. And I hadn't seen her since January 2020 or February. Well, recently, you know, we were talking and I was like, do you want to be on my new podcast? She was like, yeah, that'd be great. I was like, cool. So we we're organizing the details and everything. And she was like, you want to get lunch? I was like, that'd be great. And then she was like, we should go somewhere to eat it. I was like, yeah, where do you have in mind? She was like, do you want to do the bowling alley? Just like old times. I was like, oh my God. I got really excited in that moment. I was like, wow, yeah, no, that'd be great. I fucking got so ecstatic. I was like, that sounds amazing. And then I was met with a very quick, deep sadness. I got really sad after that because I was like, oh, that's not that's not normal. It's a memory of the past. But then after a couple moments of, sadness, I was like, actually, this is like kind of a beautiful thing. I got a little choked up all by myself because I was like, wait, isn't that so beautiful? I've never had this before. This goes back to what I was saying about, getting older. There's some beautiful things in life that you get to experience. And one of the things I experience now, this is something I've never had, but being able to have old times with people. She said, do you want to do the bowling alley just like old times? And I realized, holy shit, what an amazing position to be in, to have old times with people, to have history that goes far enough back to where you look fondly on it and you can replicate that in some, faux way. But it's not like it's not mimicking it. It's just, it's, I don't know. It's a revisiting of it. I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to be able to like have old times with people. I've never had that because everyone I know, I've only known for like maybe a handful of years. But now I have a group of people in my life. They're friends. And I've known them for so long. And so sometimes when I reach out to them, like Abrion, she'll say, let's do this just like old times. And it's sad immediately because that's how my brain is, that I immediately am like sad that it's a thing of the past. But it's that classic saying, right? Is it fucking Dr. Seuss? Where it's like, don't be sad, it's over. Be glad it happened. And now I'm taking it like one step further where it's like, even be so bittersweet and appreciative that you can even do something like that again. And that's a thing. That's something I found is that, oh my God, you can, this is one of the benefits of getting older. You can have good old times with people. Garv, where the fuck have you been, right? Why have I not done this podcast in a while? I don't know. I've been I've been trying to pay attention to myself more. April was a very selfish month for me. I didn't see people. I didn't go anywhere. And I knew that. I knew that at the beginning of the month. I wasn't going to see that many people. And it panned out. It panned out the way I expected it to. I didn't really see anyone. I was just doing a lot of stuff on my own. I don't want to talk about it because it's my stuff. I like doing things just for me. There's something weird. I feel like it taints things. Like if you put certain things online, they don't become yours anymore. It's the same thing with songs I like that I was talking about before. I don't like a lot of the time telling people what songs I listen to. because then it's like it's not my thing. Do I only like this because they like it? Like if they do take to it, then I lose ownership of it in a weird way. But that's wrong, because one of the best things about being a human is like sharing the things you love with other people you love. So why am I not doing that? I'm a selfish fuck. Not on purpose though. Just who I am, you know? But yeah, I think when you share certain things with people, it's like a lose lose situation. I should probably, like I said, programming inside a human's brain, I should probably rewire my brain to not think this way. But I feel like sharing, let's just say music, as an example. It could also be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be something you baked, it could be a book you read. Anytime you share something you love with someone, it's like a lose lose in my head, because now you've lost like ownership of it because it's like not really yours. And then if you share it with them and they don't like it, that's if they like it. You've kind of lost ownership of it. It's now whatever. But if they don't like it, then you're like, oh fuck, this person I care about doesn't like the thing I like. Shit. And then it devalues it in my head. But then there's the alternative route, right? This is where you should probably go with it, where it's like, oh, if you share it with someone, they do like it. Oh, well, that's beautiful, right? You shouldn't feel like that. It was never, it's not yours to begin with, you selfish fuck. So when you share it with people, it's not you losing it. It's just you like spreading the things you like with the people you like. And then when you share with someone and they don't like it, it's like, yeah, whatever. Not everyone can like everything. That's how I think about Star Wars. I know Star Wars, if you look at it, Star Wars, it's not like high quality. Like the first four movies they made, 4 through 6, if you look at them objectively, they're bad movies. I know that, but I still like Star Wars. So that's why I have no problem being like, I like Star Wars, because I've gotten over the hump mentally of like, I'm okay sharing this with you, and I know that you probably won't like it, but that doesn't stop me from liking it. But music and like movies and I just, not all movies. There's some movies still, I keep hidden that I like because I'm like, I don't want anyone's opinion on this. But there's like shows and like music and stuff. I don't share with people because I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for you to have an opinion about a thing I like. But that goes back to it, right? One of the beautiful things about humans is just sharing. And for a guy that was selfish all of April, how do you expect me to do that? But May is different. May is a different month for me. I already know, right? This is going to come out on May 1st. This whole month is so full of people and things, and I'm ready for it, but Jesus Christ. To a month of sharing, right? But why does it always happen around this time, especially these last few years? It happens because this is a very it's a time of the year where everything gets like thrown up in the air. May and June, because people are graduating, people are moving, people are going to other places. And I'm still close enough to like the college world to where like I know people in college that are now moving on. I just found out a friend of mine is moving a few states away. So I just texted her yesterday and I'm like, we have to do lunch or dinner. It's already on the calendar. But this always happens around this year, right? Around this time every year. Everyone's moving, everyone's doing things. And it's not sad. It's not. It's cool. It's cool to have the opportunity to feel sad. This is that whole vulnerability thing, right? Where it's like, sure, I feel sad in the moment that some of these people, I don't know when the next time I'll ever see them is. But by opening myself up to feeling that sadness, I've been able to experience such highs as well. And only by opening yourself up to one can you experience the other. Or will you experience the other? This is something I talk about in actually today's new episode of All Ears with Zach Waters. Make sure you go watch that. We talk about at the end of the episode, we talk about happiness and what it means. I was curious about his opinion on it. But I'm here. Every Monday I thought about it. I was like, fuck, another Monday. I haven't posted my podcast. It's always weird, right? I started getting a little more views. Then I left. Things go well, and you either can embrace them or run away from them. That's the only option. And I ran away for a few weeks, okay? But I'm here now. That's all that matters, right? Speaking of things running away, I have a Ring doorbell. Do you guys have that? And a lot of times on the Ring doorbell, you get to see these posts about like, oh, lost animal. I found this dog. I found this cat. Is this anyone's cat? I'm like, hey, cats just roam. All right, leave them alone. It's fucking crazy. But recently on the Ring app, I just get notifications, and you just kind of see the title of the alert. And then you got to click, like, open it up and then see the whole story. But just the title of the alert was, is this someone's bird? And I was like, what the fuck? I got to check this out. And I clicked it, and it was this person that was like, I found this bird. Is this anyone's bird? And I was like, what a bold thing to do. What an insane, that's wild, to capture a bird and be like, this is someone's bird, right? It's like, so you decide, you were like, this bird looks like a bird you'd own. I'm going to capture it and then ask the community, hey, is this someone's bird? Like a dog, we don't have wild dogs where I live, right? We don't live on a farm. Cats are nomadic, okay? I would never capture a cat and be like, is this someone's cat? It's supposed to do that. Let it do the thing it's doing. But a bird is like a cat to the nth level, to the nth degree. Why the fuck are you capturing a bird? And do you think you have enough information about the world to be like, yeah, this isn't a wild bird. This is a bird someone owns. This is a pet right here. So I just saw that this week, and I was like, what an insane like idea to have. To see a bird and be like, no. Nuh-uh. Nope. You deserve to be in a cage in a house. I can tell by looking at you. That's great. That's insane. That's what. Oh boy. Yeah, that's like looking at someone being like, nah, you should probably be in jail, right? It's like, did I do anything? No, the way you look. I'm gonna capture you, and I'm gonna put out a thing for your arrest. I don't think you should be walking the streets here. And also, how did they capture this bird? I don't even know how to begin. Even if you own a pet bird, I'm like, how the fuck do you even get in your house, get it back in the cage? This motherfucker found a wild bird and caught it. How is anyone going to ask how that happened? That's an insane. What? The question isn't, is this someone's bird? The question is, how the fuck did you capture a bird, man? What? What skill set do you have? What's going on here? Like I said, we're not on a farm. Why do you know how to capture a bird? Anyone that uses a Ring doorbell should not know how to capture a bird. Those are two different games. That's a different player for each game. That's like a hockey player knowing how to dunk. What the fuck? Stay in your lane, man. You shouldn't be able to know how to do this other thing. That's insane. You caught a bird. You just took your 3 kids to school and then soccer practice. You shouldn't know how to capture a bird, man. That's weird. And you suddenly know how to use technology? Something's not adding up. This, oh my God, you know what it is? It's like when Wayfair was selling kids. Ooh, they put them up as like cabinets and like closets. And they're like, anyone want this closet named Maria for $7,000? It's not a bird. He doesn't have a bird. This is him. Oh my God, I figured it out. This is him being like, all right, the payment's ready, like come pick it up or whatever. That's the code phrase. I have the bird. The bird has landed. Is this anyone's bird? Means I have a lot of drugs. That's what that means. Holy shit, I didn't even think about it. Well, I didn't think about it because that couldn't have happened. Because 2 days later, someone did say, hey, I'm missing a bird. Did anyone find it? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So that guy was right? I'm like, and how does he know that? And then I did actually look at a picture, and it's like a blue very beautiful cockatoo or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, you don't see those. That's not your everyday pigeon or seagull. That's a cockatoo. That's correct. That actually makes sense. All that shit about my conspiracy, we can close that folder. That's a dead case. Don't close it out completely. That might be a cold case that we can look at in the future. When I'm sitting there, a grizzled veteran, I can look at that one case and be like, that's the one that got away. How are they smuggling so much? Birdgate, that's what it was. And I'll remember it. There'll be a dove that will come through the window of my skyscraper office. I'll look at it and all the dots will connect. I'll be like, bird, drugs. I figured it out. It all makes sense now. Is this someone's bird? Nah. This is my golden goose, motherfucker. It's my bird. Anyways, it's good to be back. Thanks for listening. If you did make it this far, make sure you leave a like. And yeah, check out those 2 new episodes of All Ears. And I will talk at you next week. Okay? Bye.